Customize Raiden's body. You know it. This time, we're going to be using the suit, which I know a lot of people like the sombrero. I'm a fan of the suit. We're also going to be using the brown wig for infinite weapons. Now, it doesn't look that brown in-game. It's brown enough, but...
You killed Monsoon. I'm impressed. The brains are in the server room undergoing training. Knock yourself out. Go nuts.
I mean, we gotta look good, you know, when entering the business office. What sword should I use? You know, I haven't used the machete. We'll use that. And let's just demonstrate here. Homing missile. I think it just, yeah, it just deletes the CONR recovery. It says 4 out of 5. Normally that would be in the corner. It just sort of deletes that number to tell you, yeah, you've got unlimited now. Oh my god, she's the strongest cyborg ever. So, the reason you might want to use this is to experiment with the tap. I mentioned before you can tap the aim button to do a quick shot.
Our business hours for the day have ended. We are looking forward.
My god, she's so strong. And it's fun to just mess around with it and see how you can work it into combos.
Watch out. They keep on coming.
Is he a Men in Black agent or a Matrix agent? Well, there are MIBs in this game. Men in boxes, of course. Though, you know, we do deal with simulations and such. No robot overlords, but AI overlords. You know, they've been defeated by this point, however. Oh no, my short range! Yeah, that's the one... To me, the one downside of the machete is it is very short-ranged. But it's really quick. So if you want to... It's weird. It's actually pretty good for score attack. Like, if you want to get S ranks, because it's weak, but it's fast, so you can actually do a lot more hits, and you can, you know, not accidentally kill people immediately. It's also just fun because it's so fast. I like fast weapons. And as long as you're close, you can still do multiple Zandatsu and stuff like that. Well, that gun's floating. Let's get a little distance here. Oh, they don't want us to get a little distance. Yeah, remember what I said about this game not having the system to prevent enemies from attacking you off screen? Yeah. This is kind of what you want to use Ripper mode for. So I've mentioned that it's definitely a use it or lose it. And yeah, if there's too many dudes around you, it means you should have used it ahead of time. But if you've got it, use it then. Again, it makes it harder to raise your score, but eh. Oh, we're getting some criticisms about Raiden's suit, saying it's poorly fitted. Listen, he has to keep that cyborg body under there, and he has to be able to remove it quickly. Okay? He needs to be able to Yakuza his entire suit off. Also, he's got shoes. He doesn't have shoes in the opening of the game. Like I said, this is based on an earlier version.
elevators appear to be disabled.
Yep.
Which we...
You should have expected that.
I suppose.
I will access the control unit. Perhaps you can hack an elevator.
Perhaps.
And make it operational.
Ooh, splendid idea. By all means, yes.
I've never played a video game before. I never thought of hacking an elevator while enemies proceed towards us. Alright, now, again, we've got infinite ammo for these, so, we can see that the game is very silly.
You can control that UGT as well, yes? Give them hell.
You can also do the quick shots, locked on, and you can dodge cancel, which is funny because you can also dodge cancel way early and not even fire. In the suits in video games tier list, Raiden's is lacking. I think the one he has in the opening of the game is pretty good. I think he really needs the gloves. I don't like the fleshy hands. I think the gloves really make it. To that end, I also really like the MGS4 suit. The one that I played, I believe Act 1. I used that. I think that one looks good. I think, you know, FBI Special Agent Iroquois Snake Plissken. Much better than Mr. Lightning Bolt here. Oh. Why did it get that guy? It was locked onto the other dude. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it is also kind of... No, I gotta get the special enemy, Doctor. Remember, a Grodd comes out at the end. Yeah, it is kind of funny because, again, games like Devil May Cry, you have infinite ammo. And you kind of get some weapons like this. I mean, is this... Is that really too different from using the grenade gun in DMC1? Actually, it is different from using the grenade gun in DMC1 because I can't fire it as fast with my dodge cancels. You can fire it a lot faster in DMC1 with your dodge cancels there. It's funny how not strong it is, too. Like, I struggle to think when you would want to use these if they weren't unlimited. You know, like, look at this. It's not like it's a particularly powerful weapon that you want to save for a pinch moment. Anyone left? Oh, you behind that. Oh, I see. Can we do the old VR mission angle it? No. No. Do we have to go down here? Did they not think that people would want to fight all of them on very hard? You have to get the S rank. Remember what I said about this being a bit of a silly game? Maybe from here? There we go. And now the Grodd comes out, yes? No, more guys! We're still dealing with dudes. I mean, it does want us to use this, which you can see. Oh my god, look, he's got his regular cyborg hands here because they're actually part of this model. Rather than being Raiden's character model. Why is this inverted? Oh, it's not inverted. I know why I expected it to be inverted, because the last time I played something with a first-person view was Ace Combat, which was inverted and wasn't giving me problems, so I was just like naturally inclined to do some inverted vertical there. Man, you guys, this is a long fight. Do my missiles get Ripper mode enhancements? I don't think they do. I think this thing's our best option. Oh no! Oh no! His missile was stronger than mine. Hey. Hi, how are you? Can you give me some, Well, that's not what I wanted you to give me. No, it's not. I wanted you to give me a little bit of health. Oh, no. Oh, that's a nice camera angle. That helps. Thanks. No, that's really handy. You know, I don't know if you saw it, but I did try to dodge that. Okay, you know what I think it's time for? Time to get a little serious here. Oh, because they're Desperado even. Oh, there goes all my healing items. Wow! Yeah, he gave me a little bit of negative health. Oh my god. I do not like how much it requires you to shake that. It's a little too much. It's a little more than I feel comfortable with. Like, see, I shake it like crazy, and then I just simply perish.
Raiden?
And that's how you don't play Metal Gear Rising.
The guards are storming the
Alright, that's fine.
Get back to the entrance. Buy me some time to get this elevator operational. You can control that UGC as well, yes? Give them hell.
We'll just... We'll just stop when it wants us to stop. I think I remember this actually weirdly being one of the hardest fights in the game to S rank. Because it requires you to wait until that Grodd comes out at the end. And as you saw, it doesn't take a lot for those mounted guns to be destroyed.
Do not stray too far from the elevators, Raiden. Use the weapons around you to slow them down. Throw everything you can.
And then even with the infinite rocket launchers, as you saw, the rocket launcher, it's not actually that great. Which is why I think it is so funny that Like, it's fun, yeah.
Und der Elevator rein.
It's fun to mess around with and be able to just launch unlimited missiles at dudes, but it's not... Like, even there, it's like, oh, well, we got the homing one. Oh, well, it misses sometimes. Alright, let's get in the elevator.
For security purposes,
Shit!
this will look like
He went in the elevator!
It is, you will need in any...
You know, let's use, I don't know, I like the longsword. I kind of just like how it looks. And I like how it does
Use your enhanced AR
that
to search
thing,
for
yeah.
any unusual heat sources inside the walls.
Now, unfortunately, we don't get a special AR display animation for this outfit.
There should be an electrical panel nearby. Use your enhanced AR to
Oh.
locate it. Stop! They found you! No choice now!
I am pretty glad that the day and age of having to, like, mash buttons and wiggle sticks is over. Because, like I said, you know, a PlayStation 4 controller is like $70 still, for some reason. And I don't feel like, absolutely breaking my control stick to get out of that. Like, I'll wiggle to try and escape, but it wants you to wiggle a lot. We move beyond the need to interact with the controller. I mean, specifically mashes and wiggles. I like that, a lot of current games, a lot of modern games have an option to just hold. Because it really doesn't... It doesn't add much, and it's... How do I want to say this? Smashing on the buttons works with, like, an arcade stick, like an arcade controller, or even, like a GameCube controller, something that's, like, made out of indestructible materials and has big fat buttons. When you've got this delicate little PS4 controller, it doesn't work as well. I'm getting bullied over here also because of the wiggling that I can't do.
What? Ryan? No. No. Ryan?
So that puts me in a bit of a predicament because it actually now, the game is requiring me to wiggle like crazy. And I don't necessarily want to. So let's use the fox blade.
Most likely hidden in the walls. Use your
Hey.
enhanced AR. Stop! They found you! No choice now!
So, I don't know if anyone remembers, but, like, as beloved as this game is, and as beloved as Bayonetta 1 was, there was a lot of discussion back in the day about, you know, action games and their difficulty. We're talking, like, before Dark Souls really caught on. You know, and a lot of people were, like, trying to gauge the metric of how good an action game is by how hard it is. You know, Ninja Gaiden, of course, would have... was often brought up as being the best to a lot of people because it was so hard. But then when you dissect what makes Ninja Gaiden hard, yeah, it's usually just enemies being off-screen and hitting you and stuff. And when people would talk about the higher difficulties in the Platinum-style action games, a lot of times you would get very similar things, enemies like ganging up on you, the setups basically being... you know, rather than being balanced around letting, and this is only on the higher difficulties, rather than being balanced around letting the player express themselves and experiment with gameplay, they would just try and, you know, be like, oh, you let 2 enemies be on screen, you idiot, you fool, you buffoon, of course you failed. And it's kind of like, it's kind of coming back to me as I'm playing this again on very hard, like, oh yeah, that's what they used to do with these. Devil May Cry has always been a little better at trying to balance how it works, simply through, again, like, enemies off camera are going to, their priority is going to be getting on camera before they can attack. And again, Bayonetta would have that, and so the joke, you know, when you would fight, I believe their names were like Gracious and Glorious in Bayonetta 1, when you would fight them and have difficulty and be like, I don't understand, both of them got on screen and killed me, the thing was, well, yeah, that's just it. The fight is trying to keep one of them off the camera the entire time. Oh, yeah.
That's my boy.
Hell yeah. And, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of coming back to me now. All the memories are coming back of like, oh, right, that's how these games worked. That's what kind of, like, that's where the real meta would come from. Wasn't doing the combos, it was remembering how to mitigate the things where the game was just a bully and would be like, hey guys, you know, I'm having difficulty doing this fight. You know, like, I keep killing Rudra and Agni picks up the other blade, and now I'm just getting obliterated. What's happening? Oh, yeah, keep them at the same amount of health. What? But when they're both on screen, they destroy me. Yeah, keep only one of them on screen and whittle them down, then keep the other on screen. It's like, it's kind of the... Because I feel like a lot of it has gotten lost to me mentally due to a lot of the Souls-like discourse and the absence of stylish action games in the spotlight. Kind of remembering now how these games used to work and how I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. No, they're very silly. They're very silly. And of course, because the only people still around talking about, you know, like Bayonetta 1 and DMC4 are the people that were playing it back in the day, you know, they're like weird freak beasts about it, where they know, like, all the frame data, they know all the things, and they just show you, like, this combo that looks like the character's just flying around the screen while explosions are happening, and you don't even recognize any of the moves that they're doing, and you're like, is this a mod, or there's no, they just know how to control the game like that. You forget that for the average person, yeah, these games were about a lot more strategy than button mashing. A lot more like knowing, hey, this guy's going to come out here, you know, so I want to have my Ripper mode, but I don't want to be in Blade mode for too long, because then I won't have enough Ripper mode to deal with him. And I just need to destroy him so I can put the sliders to good use and do that. It's kind of, I don't know, it's refreshing. It's refreshing playing an actual video game after so long. It would be nice to have a modern controller that doesn't break when you push forward on it. Yeah. Yeah, like, I really don't want to, mash the buttons. And it's funny, right? Because I'm liking a lot of the difficulty things. And I'm liking a lot of the, oh, right, this is how, you know, but I'm not liking the mashing. There's certainly a couple things design-wise we got better at, but there's also a couple things where I'm like, I wish we would go back, you know? Because, like, I am pretty vocal about just not liking the Souls-like experience. They're very slow, and they're very... You don't get to express yourself in combat the way I like to, is what I will say. And, you know, so, like, playing something like this again, where it's like, oh, what am I supposed to do? This rocket launcher guy keeps hitting me. And it's like, well, what you're supposed to do is ahead of time remember that there's rocket launcher guys there and that they will keep shooting you. So you have to remember to go to them first. You know. And deal with them, and if you can, heal off of them. And then you deal with the other guys. That's kind of fun. It's like literally... the only... it's such a bad description. But like I said, it's like, oh, right, this is what video games... This is what playing an actual video game used to be like. Yeah. Where you would actually want to learn how to cheese it. But in a way that's, like, rewarding instead of just, like, you know. I don't know. That's why games like this would have, like, these crazy difficulty modes and all these wacky New Game Plus items. It's like, you start to learn things about the game that you wouldn't pick up in a normal playthrough because, you know, you fell into one play style that got you through rather than figuring out, you know, all the wacky, goofy stuff. It's fun. This game's still really fun is what I'm saying. Even when you get your ass absolutely blasted, it's still really fun. It's funny, though, because sometimes I do feel like I only have to, like, wiggle once. Whereas other times it's like, oh, keep wiggling, keep wiggling. Now, see, there I destroyed the spine. That's not good. You don't want to destroy the spine. Like, see, this is a horrible situation to be in. Oh, there's an armored cyborg in front of you and a Mastiff behind you? Yeah, your mistake was putting yourself in that situation. And as both an experienced gamer and someone who's done martial arts, I don't know. I kind of like that idea. I like that style of you know, as long as there's a way to get yourself out of the situation. You know, it's like, oh, if I stay in that corner, I'm toast. But if I break away, you know, sort of reset the fight to neutral, as it were, I have a much better chance. Now, I'm not going to be able to really reset to neutral because this guy has, like, these crazy-ass command grabs. So really, I need to get a lot of space between me and him. And I need to either do something about his buddy or whiff punish like crazy. Because the only way I can deal with his buddy is getting into that winning the parry war with him, which makes me vulnerable to that guy. I don't know, it's fun. Like I'm seeing the flow of what's going on, and it's pretty cool. It's legitimately been a while since I've experienced a game like this. I genuinely can't remember the last time. It probably was back when I played this back in the day. And no, it was probably Devil May Cry 5. Like, let's be honest, it probably was certain things in Devil May Cry 5. Problem is, I have so much, like, Devil May Cry, like, instinct. Well, here's the thing is now, if I can do it, I can break his arms, see? Oh, I only got the one? Oh, I might have gotten both. See, now they're both vulnerable to all sorts of attacks. Ah, he got me though. He got me though.
Raiden!
It's fun. I genuinely... Yeah, most games aren't, You can't jump the grab. Not in this stage. Because he keeps going up the bridge. And then I jump into the grab. Less I hate wiggling the stick, I don't like getting gripped by an ape. Well, that's true.
Nice try!
It's very funny. You can see, you know, I'm very open with how I feel about things. And it's funny, you can tell if you go back through some of my streams and some of my experiences with games. There are times when I'm losing and having a blast, such as right now. And then there's times like the bridge level in Metal Gear Acid, where I was losing and not having a blast. And that sort of thing is always fascinating to me. Because I often say I don't like high difficulty games. And for the most part, that's true because I don't like how most games treat difficulty and that the reward is like, ah, you beat it, yay, because you did the right thing perfectly at the right time. I like Metal Gear Rising's difficulty because, and like, action games in general, like pure action games, tend to have a more fun difficulty because it's all about reading the setups and reading what's going on, and you can very easily learn on the fly. Like, you don't have to do a fight again. You can learn halfway through a fight. Oh, right, this is what I should be doing. So now I'm like, alright, well, I kept getting grabbed by the ghoulies before. My priority is either completely destroy the ghoulies, or disarm them literally. So now I've got to... Oh, I was able to jump that one. Ah. Okay, okay. That's alright, that's alright. Because we can get his arm off and prevent him from doing one of his grab attacks at least. He can still grab with one arm, but... Oh yeah, he can beat his chest too. Oh, and he can still shoot me, because he's got his, a war machine gun there. I'm worried. He's off screen. I don't know where he is. Oh, he's right behind me. That's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. You're a funny guy, you know that? Mr. Mastiff? That's not even a primate, that's a canine. There we go. Oh my god. This fight's crazy. Hey, have a grenade. I don't think the grenade worked. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Get the hell out of here, brother. Alright. Oh man, it's just like, it's fun. I don't know, it's like I've never felt a tension like this before. I forgot video games could be fun. Until I play a game that I've oftentimes cited as the game that I think is one of the most fun games of all time, and then I go, oh yeah! Maybe I just shrimply should not give new games a chance and only play the classics that I enjoy.
They found you.
It's much to think about. Actually, it's not a lot to think about at all. What I'm saying is we're going to play Sonic and Knuckles after this. No. Hey, no, I like the Horse Girls, okay? We will be continuing to play that new game. I mean, that's not even really a new game, it's 4 years old. See, now I probably should have stealthed this area, but... here we are. In the exact same situation we were in the prior area. Can I, like, Jeez. What? Okay, alright. They love putting me in situations here. Okay, okay. I see what's going on. Mm-hmm. This is pretty cute. This is pretty cute. You're doing some cute stuff here, video game. That's why we got the pincer blade. Sorry, Horse Girls. People Saru is calling again. No, again, listen, I like the Horse Girl game. That's a game that I will be playing more of. But if someone tells me, hey, you should play this game, it's like blank. It's like this thing that you like. I will go, I don't know. Oh, you should play, you know, Astrobot. It's like Ape Escape. Is it? Is it like Ape Escape or is it like Astrobot? Now, no disrespect to Astrobot. It seems like it's a fine game. Seems like it's a very enjoyable game, in fact, but, you know, I feel like that's a thing a lot of people do, is go, hey, you like blank, you should play blank, you should play a different blank, it's like that blank that you like, and I go, okay, and I play it, and I go, this is not like, go play, Pizza Tower, you like Sonic, it's like Sonic, okay, looks at Pizza Tower. This is nothing like Sonic. I would hate this. Oh, well, I guess it's more like Wario Land, you know? It's more like the Wario games. Oh, I like those. Oh, wait, this is not enough like Wario. No. No. It's gotta be just, you know? That's the biggest way to make me not want to play a game. Is telling me it's like something I already like. Let me see a game for its own merits. Even this! You know, this is not Devil May Cry. Believe it or not. It's similar, but if you tell me it's like Devil May Cry, I'm going to subconsciously try and play it like Devil May Cry, which it is not. Now, Uma Musume... What is Uma Musume like? Well, nothing I've played, but I really like the anime. I really like the characters. So I get to learn it for, you know, what it is and go, okay, this is pretty cool. You know? Fighting games, like, have that with a lot of people, right? Where a lot of people who don't like BlazBlue don't like BlazBlue because either they were expecting or they were told, oh, you like Guilty Gear. BlazBlue is like Guilty Gear. BlazBlue's not like Guilty Gear. BlazBlue's like BlazBlue. Some people like both, and they like both because they know BlazBlue is BlazBlue and Guilty Gear is Guilty Gear. And even Guilty Gear isn't like Guilty Gear anymore. New Guilty Gear is like New Guilty Gear. Old Guilty Gear is like Old Guilty Gear. You can like both, but if you know, it's all about the context, man. And for me, the context is I think Metal Gear Rising's pretty fucking cool. I could be racing poison chihuahuas right now, that's true. You could be. Hey, I like God Hand. I love God Hand, in fact. You know what game is like God Hand? Nothing. There's no games that are going to give me what God Hand gives me. If I want to play if I need to scratch the God Hand itch, I will do that by playing God Hand. Alright, now I feel like playing some Metal Gear Rising, so that's what I'm doing. I don't know, like I said, there's a lot of weird things with me in video games. I feel like I notice and like the things that only huge freaks, usually people who are like in the industry of making games, and even then oftentimes not, like they won't think about it. But I like all the weird stuff, like, yeah, like, okay, what is peak, you know, gameplay performance look like? And is playing it at its peak the way that makes the game look its best? And, you know, the idea that, like, there's not just, like, easy games and hard games. There's different types of hard games, you know? Most people like to just limit stuff to either just talking about vague genre or like vague narrative themes, you know, graphic styles that are really like really vaguely defined things. I really like the more specific, nitty-gritty concepts. You know, even like Sonic CD, right? I didn't like Sonic CD at first because I played the original version of Sonic CD after playing years and years of playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And Sonic CD is a very different game from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But the new version of Sonic CD, you know, the 2011 Plus version, feels a lot more like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So to me, it's like immediately a much better game. Because at least, even though I can't really play it in the exact same way, well, I guess you can. You don't have to do all the crazy you know, you don't have to make a good future. You can just speedrun it. There is a time attack mode for that. So you can play it a little more like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so, you know, I like that. But I would even say that they're different games. Like, not only are all, you know, there's no such thing as just, oh, the 16-bit Sonic games. You know, because Sonic CD, Sonic 1 and Sonic CD are so different from 2 and 3K. But then there's a completely separate version of Sonic CD now that you gotta factor in. You know. And even that's different from, say, like, you know, my favorite Metal Gear games are, my favorite Metal Gear Solid games, I guess I should say, are 1, Twin Snakes, and 3. Because they have the most similar experience to each other. Like, once you get to 4, it's a completely different experience, and the only reason I count out 2 is just because it's all bomb disposal. I don't really like doing all the bomb disposal.
Look out! Incoming!
BlazBlue kind of lost its identity, you're saying? Like, it just kind of... They had an idea... Oh, I'm so low on health. Hold on. We'll talk about BlazBlue after... I shouldn't have done that. Let's see. They abandoned the direction they laid out with Calamity Trigger in the subsequent entries. As far as so-called anime fighters go, it's most generic and has the weakest personal identity. Every game in that niche has its own mechanical and thematic identity that gives it a strong gist. BlazBlue doesn't. That's fair. I know, like, BlazBlue, a big thing of its identity is everyone having their own meter. Their own weird meter that does a weird thing instead of, you know, there being, like, a unifying game mechanic. But, you know, BlazBlue's okay. It's not my favorite fighting game, but it is, it's my go-to example, yeah, of how it's like, oh, people will... Because that was one of the first... I'm gonna say, like, within its circle, right? Within the fighting game circle, I feel like BlazBlue... just because of when it came out, was the most discussed, like, you know... Oh, it's the successor of Guilty Gear. It's like Guilty Gear. It's Guilty Gear. To people who know what Guilty Gear is and know what fighting games are to an extent. But then the people who really liked Guilty Gear were like, this is not fucking Guilty Gear. But then BlazBlue got its own fans, and because human beings, especially ones who speak English, don't know how to communicate thoughts and ideas to each other, you know, it very quickly became a lot of discourse about your game bad, my game good, rather than just coming to understand that, you know, BlazBlue is not Guilty Gear just because they have similarities. And that's a thing that I feel like, yeah, like, more niche game discussion we'll get into, but it takes, like, you have to understand the niche, but not be emotionally invested in it, right? Because the other one that comes to mind is the Smash Brothers is not a fighting game. BlazBlue is the Bayonetta of fighting games. See, now, I understand exactly what you mean by that, and I agree. Because I think Bayonetta is a good game, and I think Bayonetta 1 is a good game and is a fun game, but it is not Devil May Cry, and it will not scratch my Devil May Cry itch. And the problem is, I say that Bayonetta is not Devil May Cry, and Bayonetta fan 420 hears Bayonetta is a bad game and is garbage. And Devil May Cry fan 69 hears Bayonetta is a bad game and is garbage. And one of them really likes me and the other really hates me. And what I am saying is Bayonetta and Devil May Cry shouldn't necessarily be in the same sentence because they're so different. And you can like either one or you can like both, and I think you should like both because they're both good. But you have to like both, understanding that they're very different. And the other game that comes to mind with this, genre-wise, is Smash Brothers, where the conversation of is Smash Brothers a fighting game is very silly to me because no, it's not. It's Smash Brothers is Smash Brothers. Its genre is Smash Brothers. It plays like Smash Brothers. It's not a fighting game. That does not mean that I do not like Smash Brothers. That does not mean I like Tekken more than Smash Brothers, or that I like, you know, Fatal Fury or King of Fighters or Guilty Gear, oh, I love this song here, more than Smash Brothers, or that I think any of those games are better games. It just means that I think that in the same way, you know, Tekken, a 3D fighting game, is different from King of Fighters, a 2D fighting game. Super Smash Brothers is just simply a different genre of game, and all these things are fine, but understanding and admitting these things before, like, without conflating them as a discussion of quality. is important to move on as a society of gamers, which we are. We do live in a gamer society. And I feel like, yeah, it's like most people want to stop the discussion of, but I want to argue for Smash Brothers being a fighting game without realizing that it not being a fighting game, it being Super Smash Brothers, you know, makes things easier. And from there, you can say what your favorite Smash Brothers game is, or character, or mechanic, or etc. Or Smash Brothers derivative, even. You know? I'm a little scared. Yeah. Yeah, people frequently misconstrue my takes on BlazBlue thinking the games are bad. Yeah, that's the thing, is people do that a lot. They'll hear the idea that, okay, yeah, BlazBlue, you know, doesn't have much to make it stand out from other games in its genre, which I think is fair to say. But like I said, they will hear, well, BlazBlue is bad, and it's like that's not what was said. And yeah, that's kind of, you know. Again, I talk a lot about how, as I've mentioned, I think like 15,000 times in the past 10 minutes, I don't like Souls-like game design because I don't have fun when I'm losing, and I don't feel glory when I win. This, I don't mind getting my ass beat by these idiots because I know that I'm just making mistakes and putting myself in bad situations. And also just overall, you know, the style of the game matters. I like the aesthetics and music and tone of this game more than I've liked any, because I don't like the dark fantasy setting. So even if there were a dark fantasy game that did actually play exactly like this, I would inherently like it less because it doesn't have this type of tone. It doesn't have this type of style. And people like to be, you know, only the Sith deal in absolutes. People really like to deal in absolutes. And they'll hear that as me saying that Souls games are bad and everyone who likes them should be put into a wood chipper. To which I'm like, I never said that. I just said that I don't want to play them. And that I wouldn't enjoy playing them. And that I have no plans to play them beyond what I've already played. I think there's a hidden fight in here. But I think the box got rocked, so I can't do it. But, yeah, it's, you know. That's the stuff, like I've said, that's the stuff about video games that fascinates me and keeps me playing games. And I think that's a large reason why, as I get older, I notice a lot of people nowadays have sort of taken to, they have their, like, 1 or 2 multiplayer games that they love and they play all the time, and the primary, most of their game time is dedicated to their multiplayer game of choice. Maybe one gets subbed out every now and then, anytime there's like a, you know... What? Hello.
No.
Like a repo or a Among Us or whatever comes out. But I find that I don't like a lot of multiplayer experiences because you either have to be you have to be too engaged in the gameplay loop. You don't get the time to sit out for a moment and think about something like, you know, like genre differences or aesthetic things or whatever, because you have to be so locked into the gameplay loop, to the act of playing the game. And, you know, as you're noticing as I'm playing this, I am in the gameplay loop. I'm not always doing the best. But I am within the gameplay loop of Metal Gear Rising, while having a greater conversation about game design, game genre, the psychology of playing a game, the things I think about, why I think about them, what I like thinking about, etc., etc. And you can't really do that when you're playing a multiplayer game. You know, you gotta play it at the pace of that game. So to me, I find a lot of multiplayer, particularly like the casual experience, like, you know, I've heard the term friend slop. I don't really like that term, but what people use for the flavor of the month, like streamer friend group games, you know, usually show up on Steam for like, you know, not like less than the full price of a game. Those type of games, I don't tend to gravitate towards them because they're not a thing that, you know, activates my particular neurons. Like I mentioned last time, these boss refights use instrumental versions of the boss tracks. Oh, she got me with her whip. That's a cool move. And I think that's an interesting, deliberate choice because they're body doubles. They don't have the lyrics because they don't have the story. You know, they have the form, but not the ideals, not the story of the characters who the songs were written for. And I think that's an interesting, definitely deliberate choice. And then, you know, I start thinking of the music of this game. And I start thinking of how, well, there's no way that, say, Sonic Adventure didn't have an influence on these decisions, right? Because, you know, the advent of CD quality audio for video games was a big thing. Suddenly you could have real instruments, and you could even have vocals. It was just a CD track. That's all it was. So you could now put any sort of music you wanted into a game, including, yeah, vocal songs. And you could do licensed music like a lot of games would do, or you could write original tracks. And Sonic Adventure, you know, was one of the first prolific games to have the idea of, well, what if we made original vocal songs that tell the story of the character? And, like, it was not the first thing to ever do this, no, but it was the first commercially successful, you know, big deal game to do that. You know, Psycho Soldier for the arcade was the first game to have a vocal image song in both English and Japanese. Boy, it was bit crunched to hell and very difficult to make out the lyrics, but still, you know, that was the first time it was done. And I don't know how much influence that had on something like Sonic Adventure. But I do know that Sonic Adventure did, you know, it was a very popular game. It was a system seller. It was something that existed in the cultural consciousness for a while. So I do feel like what Platinum, who had worked with Sega on Mad World and Bayonetta before, definitely were at least aware of it. And I think the conversation of that is very interesting. But you can't really talk about that when you're like, go to the protect the vent, get to the vent, no, shoot the guy, no, get to the vent. And to me, like, you know, the discussing the history of vocal insert themes in video games is much more fascinating than just being like, did you pick it up, no, I'll cover you, pick it up, I'll cover you. You know? I don't like to really interface with games in that way. I like to interface with games in the way that, you know, I talk about the history and the technology and the, you know, the cultural impact and such, because certainly there were rock music themed games before the Sonic Adventure series. Twisted Metal had a lot of rock music in it. You know, hence the name. But there's definitely a lot of rock-themed games that came out after Sonic Adventure 2. Very famously, Final Fantasy X, you know, had a lot of rock music, and that was a big departure. I'm not saying that is directly inspired by Sonic Adventure 2. But what I am saying is there was this idea going around at the time that, oh yeah, we can turn our video game into a rock opera? That's pretty cool. Couldn't really do that before. We didn't really think about that before. Of course, Guilty Gear. My god, the Guilty Gear soundtrack. You know. Yeah, just look how we turned out. But yeah, you know. Recent era fighting games, your main problem with them is they all design towards a perceived happy medium rather than embracing having their own unique identity. Yeah, I've stated before, too, that I think game design is ruining game design. Look, you can see a shadow underneath of the thing because video games are silly. You can also see another shadow here on the ground. The game design is very tricky because there's a lot of games are over-designed. Either they're over-designed by committee to be, you know, the skill gap, to basically try and negate the idea of a skill gap. Or they're the opposite. They're designed... Either you get Super Smash Bros. Designed by a bunch of grumpy Nintendo employees who are upset that people are playing their game at a high level, so they strip away everything that they can to make the game basically, you know, or Mario Kart, where it's now basically all RNG and there's no skill level involved. Or you get Mario Kart and Smash Brothers designed by people who are way too good at Mario Kart and Smash Brothers, and they make a game that's, like, impossible to approach. And it's like, no one likes playing it except for people who like doing the Happy Feet Wombo combo, because they're like, look, you can do the Happy Feet Wombo combo. So it's like, it's interesting to me. It's very, these kind of concepts, these kind of discussions are more interesting to me. And then it's like, well, alright, Mr. Intellectual, you're so smart. What's your solution? To which I go, I don't really have a solution. Other than just, like, you know, the most basic understanding of being a human throughout all of history, which is know thyself. By the way, you can blow these guys up. Oh, I guess you can't. Are they invincible? You can eventually blow them up. You know, and if you're like a Devil May Cry 4 freak, and someone wants you to help them design an action game, you gotta understand, okay, well, I'm a Devil May Cry 4 freak, and not everyone else is. So let me step outside of my boundaries and educate myself on what's more approachable to some people, while still allowing you to do some of the freak shit that I like. It's a very difficult thing to do as a human. Anyway, he's Sundowner. He's fucking invincible, except he's not. He's very invincible. Oh, I wanted him to say it. I wanted to hear him say it, so I let it play out, but then he hit me. That's fine. Ah, that's right, that's right. He does that very quickly. Yeah, we made wave dashing even harder. And it's like, what? Why? I forgot the timing of that. Ah. Whoops. Oh no! So his timing, he doesn't leave that out as long on this difficulty. Which is funny because I mentioned the first time that a lot of people don't actually get him to phase 2 and cut his shields. Because this is the first time the game makes you do precision cuts, and a lot of players aren't used to that by this point. It's funny that on the higher difficulty, they make it, by the way, you can air combo him. They make it even more difficult to get to phase 2. Where I think he actually becomes a little more... He becomes a little trickier in phase 2. You know, he's much more vulnerable in phase 1. And I think I might... No. There we go. Yeah, it's the first precision cutting test on low difficulty. So a lot of people don't ever see the second phase. And on higher difficulties, as you can see, he gives you even less time to do it. So I actually got his health down pretty low on phase 1. And now he's just... he's weird. He's a weird fight. Also, his health is lower than all of the other bosses. And most people think it's, like, bugged. That it wasn't supposed to be that much lower. You ever think about how many people get through Monsoon and Sundowner without grasping what the idea is? Yeah, and see, now here's a game design thing. I think that's fine. I think on normal, you should be able to get through... You should be able to scrape by a fight on normal without truly having to master it. And then save mastery for the higher difficulties. For single-player games. I think that's a good way to balance it. And even that is something I've seen, you know, I talk a lot about how I basically hate every video game, except I don't even passionately hate every video game. I just mildly hate every video game. And...
What happened? You're supposed to be stronger than this.
A lot of indie games, a lot of single-player indie games like platformers and things like that, I will tend to dislike because they're designed with... You know, here's a Mario game that was designed by the best guy at Mario who knows all the Mario tricks and doesn't realize that, you know, 90% of people their first time seeing a Goomba are going to get hit by it. And it's like, well, why? Why are they going to get hit by a Goomba? Because they've never seen a Goomba. So they're going to get hit by it. That's just how it works. And this game, I think, does that well, because, yeah, you can scrape by, but now, as you see, I'm on very hard, and I'm dying left and right. I don't think I died at all on normal. I did a new game normal, and granted, I'm familiar with the game enough to scrub my way through it. But, you know, now here we are on very hard, and yeah, I'm, like, just legitimately getting beat. Why? Well, because it's been years since I've played the game any meaningful amount. And it's my first time playing very hard in, a very long time. But this is the experience I want from very hard. This is why I'm playing on very hard. By the way, we gotta go to Pakistan. And that means we're gonna have to go through half of, Chapter 3 backwards for the next chapter. Game design!